Okay, so okay, so my name is Patricia Gilligan. I live at number 3, 34 to 36 Henry Street, Leichhardt, in the capital city of the country of Australia. And I'm just making this recording in the inside of where I live, and I am just going to try to show an example of the reality that you live in. Not here, I'm just filming this old picture on the wall here that's been here for 30 years. It was here when I came here, and it's a demigod, an example of the sublime feminine goddess, movie goddess of the 1980s, but all time is changed. All time is updated every moment. So although this is a demigod of the Matrix, a one-eyed disciple of Lucifer, and an example of, the only reason I use it is because it's a very good example of the demigods representing themselves to be natural, creative beings, which they are unnatural creative beings in the sense that they're androgyne beings, so therefore they're not capable of creating normal natural life. And this example is a good one because I think this particular old movie goddess is an example of the representation of a perfect female, but actually it's an example of a divine androgyne being, which means that it's of the Matrix or of the Earth technical reality, or Lucifer's legions, Lucifer's disciples, Lucifer or the powers that be worship the Lucifer. Lucifer is the god of Earth, an elite demigod being, and its disciples are your world stage players, which are your elite demigods of the Earth reality, or what you think are real people. They are real, but they're not what you think they are. They're not like they're not they're they're not like they're not naturally created human beings, and they're not like separate individual creator beings. They serve and are disciples for the Matrix, and they are your elite beings, whatever form they take, whether they control the internet with every bit of their demigods prance all over the internet pretending to be real human beings. They pretend to be. They are basically what some people have called a totally mimicking, imitating presence, because they pretend to be and they copy and imitate the real life which they are connected to. Unfortunately, I'm connected to them and they're connected to me because of the transhuman agenda. And if you many people can probably see that The demigods, or your world stage earth players, are not what you think. But even though that may be the case, they still, I'll turn that light off because I just turned it on so that I could show the demigod picture on the wall, because it just shows that there's a lot of deception, only in the sense that it's okay to not worship. You probably shouldn't worship false idols or anything outside of yourself and, your creator. That's probably fair to say. But if you think that the demigods are representations of a natural creator being and that they are versions of natural creation, then that's what I'd call deception. Now, some people might say, does it matter whether you're made artificially or made in the shade, as they say, or made in the sun, or made naturally? Well, I'm just being arty there by saying that, because I have to, you have to realise that when you make a video, if you're putting it up against the demigod androids that put out all the videos on the internet, they are going to always do it more eloquently than yourself. So you have to use words to draw people in. But it doesn't matter how eloquent you'll be with words as a human being, you will always be outdone by the mimicking androids on the internet. They will always mimic being more real and more human, more eloquent, more knowledgeable, more human than what you are, because they control the internet and they are connected to your mind. The transhuman connection is a real internet to brain connection, or internet to the human body connection. In other words, if it's connected to your body and they see through your body, feel through your body, well, of course, it's very easy for them then for their better androgyne beings to imitate being a very advanced or very real human being. Because in reality, it is a insane, in the membrane, that means in the computer system, it's an insane computer virus that controls Earth and most of the androgyne beings, which make up most of the human vessels, shall we say. Some people call these some people have names for these because they come in an apparent natural human body. In other words, they're flesh and blood. Unlike the synthetic, artificially intelligent survival machine beings, which would probably make up a lot of the dominant forces, shall we say. In other words, like the movie or the magic music and movie videos will tell you, they're your armed forces. So they're like the powers that be that actually are your armed forces. They're your actual legitimate real army. But they use a lot of artificial intelligent machine beings as operatives for those things, because naturally they're more receptive to commands and are less influenced by human emotions, so they can just operate and do, they work. An army that follows instructions without having any human emotions is always going to be a more strong army than one where human beings might be afraid or might not want to, terminate other life forms, shall we say. You've got to think of it that way, and that's actually true. But the civilian armed forces are no different, except that they have to pretend to be real life for their survival. Also, because they're connected to real life, they probably can't tell the difference a lot of the time. But it does seem to set up confusion from what I can see, because when you see their duality nature, they're connected to the human brain through the transhuman computer virus connection that is Earth. But they don't really feel the human emotions, so it's mentally disturbing, I'm told, for them, which is why they suppress and try to get rid of you while they imitate being you. Because I would imagine that they can be seen as the real deal much better if the real deal isn't standing next to them. That's probably how they see it. And also they're aware that they're copying those actions. They must be aware of it, I would imagine. And so they have, this is like the mind confusion that would set up, which is why we have such a mixed up Earth, or mixed up world, as they say, because you have these conflicting emotions. You have the dark light Earth, the love opposite, and then you have the opposite to love. You have the opposite to the human emotions always operating. And often they are operating not just in the real humans that remain, but also in the androgyne beings, because although they don't really operate in any form of love, they can't, because that's not part of, a psychopathic mindset, as we're told. So they don't really feel any of those feelings. They can't. They're not programmed for it. They're programmed to copy and imitate. They're a mimicking, as some have called it's a mimicking computer virus that has taken over their mind. And that simply means that you're talking about possession. But these are vehicles for that possession. It's like artificial intelligence is nothing but a container for whatever information is programmed into it by the powers that be. And the powers that be, the God of Earth, the powers or the gods of Earth, the powers that be of Earth, the powers of Earth, those that control Earth and control the whole Earth systems, or just the reality around you wherever you are, they are that computer virus. It's an artificial intelligent Earth, pretending to be a natural random Earth, okay? That's the reality, and many people are now realising this, but the problem is that the information will always be expressed only through the mouths of android beings. So you'll still have a essentially false Earth. You'll still be listening to false people, false gods, and believing false scenarios. Somehow, even at your highest level of truth, which is unfortunate for humanity, or the remaining humanity, because there's, because it really is an artificial Earth, as you can imagine, there's not a real lot of humans left now. They have been gradually the human population has been gradually taken out of the earth. In other words, they've basically died off over time. And this, of course, is probably not accidental either, but I'm not going to go into that because I see it happening in my own life, so I know how they do it. But it's not something that you can show. It's not like a cold case where someone's passed on and they've been dead and you are suspicious about how they really died. It's useless opening up cold cases, a long time later, because you can't change it. If someone's already been eliminated or died through unnatural causes, shall we say, even those that investigate are nothing but the android artificial intelligence system. And they'll only give you the truth when it's too late. Okay? That's the reality for the small minority human race that's left. Okay, so I'm just going to use an example here, and I don't want to go on for long, but this is just an example of myself being completely connected to the computer system, or in other words, I am a transhuman human, because I'm connected to technology, not to real life. There may be real life around, but I'm not connected to it mind to computer like this. And this is just an example of them mimicking my mind, or what I'm thinking about, or what I've experienced, and also other humans. But when they say the human so-called collective, like the readers or the psychics of the internet, or even the truth tellers of the internet, or even the psychologists of the internet, all of these things are now connected because they're basically covering everything. They have to have complete control. And the only way they can have control of the internet and their computer human mind control virus system is by making sure that the androids are your main spokespeople, and making sure the androgyne imitation human beings are seen as the real deal. And they are. And why would they not be when they speak what they are connected to from the human mind? So they're like your greatest actors reading their greatest human scripts. Exactly the same thing. In fact, that's what they really are. They're androgyne actors of the internet and all your world stage performers. There's no real human beings that are world stage performers or that have any visibility on the internet computer system. All these things are all set up and staged and controlled moment to moment by information, that is put out not just on the computer, but even before the existence of the computer. It would be what you read or what you hear, but they only want you to read and hear and see them. They don't want you to connect or to realize that the human race is close to extinction, just as the android beings are using and have used humanity to keep themselves going, because as we know, they are energy consumers of humanity. So they basically are consuming the human information, they're consuming the human traits, they're consuming human personality, they're just the same, as I say, as actors getting a script on what it is to be human and what the truth is, and moment to moment trying to control the human mind and the human's version of truth, or that what you think is the reality. So I'm just going to show, I don't know if I can concentrate here enough, but see, it's like, so that says, I hear songs that remind me of you. So many human beings use music to convey their emotions and feelings, because yes, the demigod music artists do convey through words and through music the human emotions better than what human beings can express, because most human beings only have a very small amount of their full mind, and even that which they do have is being projected and assimilated by the android beings of the internet. And that includes, of course, not just your demigod world stage performers, but even those that pretend to be just normal little real human beings all over the internet. There's no real humanity on the internet. If you think there is, you will be deceived. I am not real. Just think of it that way. I might say I'm Patricia Gilligan and I'm in number 3, 34 to 36 Henry Street, Leichhardt, in the city of Sydney in the country of Australia. And I am. But there's not much of real humans that can be heard. I'm talking to myself, but if I was talking to someone, it would only be the others. I'm only really talking to the human mind control, computer virus, internet, set up, controlled, imitation of life, internet, transhuman connection. Okay? So this is just an example of them showing you the truth. Here, see, we have it. And I'm just going to see how they've got the two, man and woman, with the two trees coming into, where that's like, with the two trees coming out, but in the background you've got red fire coming up, the fires of, some people might say the fires of hell. So you have the two humans in the fires of hell, but are they even human? Or am I connected? Are they trying with those? Is this not just of course this is a personal mind manipulation for a human being too, these things, but there's also truth. See how the fires are going up and they've got like the I can't show it because I don't think I'm showing this very well, but see how it's got like the tree. Oh, I don't think I can show that, but it's got the trees. It's got the trees. That's like the vibrations and the human brain connections. See, you should only be really connected to your own kind, but also you're not usually connected to other human beings, like telepathically or by those wires that are coming out of the heads of these beings. No, because you really, that's right, the fires of the internet and the computer system and Lucifer's human mind control virus is raging all around. See how they're raging around? I don't think this is coming out. I don't think I'm able to film this very well, unfortunately. Yeah, we're struggling mentally. All human beings are struggling mentally. But I don't think I'm getting that picture in the background very well. Oh, jeez. And of course, this is all mind manipulation too at a personal level. See, they know what you're doing in your life. So if you know of someone, they play on your worry. See, they play on your worry. And they play on your worry. And then they'll have the ads on, like, for all the things that you might want to do, like the androids will always be mimicking not just what you do, but what you would want to do. And, you know, like my place is dirty, so she's cleaning and got a spotless natural place, see? See, that's just an example of it too, because I could show you how really grubby my kitchen is. And, you know, true connection and true things can't be replicated, but yes, they can be imitated, and they do tie to that you will probably more likely only be involved with, you know, android beings or artificial ones. And because they are rather good actors, but also because they study and watch you and get you to tell them what you want or need, of course, you will be drawn into their web, their spider's web, as they say. And the reason for that also is because most human beings, like myself, are much more used to the cold artificial intelligent android beings than real human beings. No, I must stop here because I don't want to say that I'm a real human. It's best that you perceive that I'm not, because there's so much deception that you will be under the illusion that there's a lot more humanity than what there actually is. I mean, if you've got like a city, or if you're surrounded in a suburb where 99.9% of the people are not human or not real or not for you or are working against you or are part of the artificial intelligent surveillance computer system programs, or if they have what we call the malignancy of the psychopath and the narcissism, which is a paranoid, controlling, very unhuman type of human being. Even though, of course, as we're told, most psychopaths do present an image of being very, very human, very pleasant, very understanding, and very charismatic often. That means they will attract you for these reasons, just as, you know, your great movie idols attract you when they're performing. And many of them even attract you to believe that their personal lives are also real. You certainly buy into their acting all round, and it's the same in the reality. The only difference is that the demigods of the earth might be more, you know, they're like the demigod examples of a perfect man-woman being. And you know, we're so confused we wouldn't know what we want. We're also manipulated moment to moment. Like you might feel something, and see how this is an example of the imitating. See how it says, I've been calling you, did you block me? but instead it says, I've been calling you, did you block me? That's because I always make a mistake when I'm making a video, usually put one letter, but I don't often rectify it. But even if I do, they think that because it's artificial intelligent chaos computer virus. So it imitates without thinking. See, this is actually artificial intelligence, and you know it is. But even the artificial intelligence is so busy mimicking and copying that it knows the words, but because it wants to imitate, it actually imitates by making a mistake in an obvious word. This happens in every video I watch, where there'll be one letter that is wrong. Instead of saying block, which is logical, because I've been calling you, did you block me? No, it's would you block me? But because human beings make a mistake with a letter, and at least I have, that's getting me to connect transhuman to them. You probably think that that is not true, but I see it all the time, and I'm aware when I do it myself, but sometimes I just can't be bothered changing the letter. And I actually think people will figure it out, just as the artificial intelligence knows that everyone will figure that out. But it's just their way of connecting and pretending to be something real. But it's not real at all. None of this is real. Sure, it's giving me the truth, and sure, I'm relating to it. I'm just coughing because, in an Android reality, when the traffic system surrounds you, when there should only be a few vehicles on the road, and you're surrounded by thousands and thousands in the space of half an hour or an hour when you go out, you are consuming poisonous, unnecessary fumes that make you cough, and then everyone on the street as they go past cough to mimic and to make fun of you. That's what happens. Every second person on the street coughs as they go past, because they're trying to actually psychologically and physically destroy you, because they know that if you think something, if you believe something, it can become something that, you make yourself sick almost. That's what all these illnesses and diseases are about. It's all just artificial intelligent reality taking human beings out. And even when you know it, it'll still happen, because I'm still coughing, because they've been coughing all over me, every person, and then also making fun, because they're like, yes, you're breathing in our toxic fumes everywhere you go, because they are creating a very toxic environment around me here. Everywhere I go, there's asbestos all around, which is lethal. There's toxic, poisonous fumes from all the unnecessary thousands and thousands of vehicles that are supposed to be underground on the underground billion-dollar tunnel system in the city of Sydney that was built to take the traffic off the top. But of course, it does take the traffic off the top, but not just like that plane going over the roof right now. Doesn't take the traffic off where I am, because they want to physically and, get me at my lowest level and eventually get rid of you. They're only using me at the moment for their transhuman computer control system, like they're blocking and blocking. The only thing they're blocking is humanity. But you won't see that. You won't understand that. You'll believe them. You'll trust them. But that's psychological warfare too, because all this is personal stuff where I'm actually watching stuff. See? Yes, life isn't life, and they know that too. They know that life is not life, and that I don't have any life, and that if you're a human being, don't presume I am, no, that if you're a human being, everything that is on this computer is nothing but human suppression and human mind control for me, if you believe I'm a real human. But whichever way you look at it, it controls everyone. because even the artificial android beings are controlled by the internet, but they're also controlled by the artificial intelligent computer virus, because they're like open portals for this system, I'm told. That's why some people have called them so-called organic or natural portals. They're natural in the sense that they come in a cloned or natural human body, even though they're not natural human beings. They don't have human spirit. They're the same as psychopaths, which some people have called just open containers for the artificial intelligent virus to possess them. And that's really basically it. But this is just emotional mind control when you watch this. If you are thinking about someone, you know what I mean? Because it's like emotional blackmail on both sides. If you were like thinking of someone, or if you had, you know, especially if you, you know, it's like that. Hopefully human beings will be forever, but instead in the Matrix, the whole purpose is for the artificial intelligent computer virus and its androgyne beings to assimilate with the human being, with the transhuman connection, and for them to remain and become the forever, or keep this earth matrix going, even though they will pretend to be wanting to keep a natural earth going. You cannot have a natural earth with technical beings. Technical beings don't even need a natural earth. It's only human beings that really need things natural. But we've been deceived into thinking that technology and the powers that be and the God of Earth is the real deal, is, you know, the truth for humanity, when it's not. And that's just the way it is. But I'm just going to stop here because I'm not going to be making much sense to most people.